Okay, Coach. Well, the road ends here. It has been a wild, often unpredictable 2019 season. And now it's time for the greatest spectacle in all of sports. Super Bowl 54 from Miami. You know, this town has played host to 10 Super Bowls in the past. And tonight, we write chapter number 11. And what a matchup we've got. Tonight, it's all on the line. We play for the Lombardi Trophy, as it'll be the first time AFC champion Houston Texans taking on the NFC champions for the very first time, the Detroit Lions. Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis, thrilled to be with you. Charles, what a turnaround they've had down in Houston. 4-12 just 2 seasons ago, 11-5 with a wild card loss last year, and now here they are in Super Bowl 54.
We know the city of Houston pretty well, right? Because it's hosted Super Bowls. What have they hosted? 3 so far in their history? The Oilers prior to. Now, of course, the Texans. Neither one of them has ever played in the big game. So that city's got to be out of its mind. I mean, think about how excited they are to have the Texans representing in the Super Bowl. They've been good recently. Now they got over the top, have a chance to take home the Lombardi Trophy.
Meanwhile, it's probably a day that a lot of folks in the Motor City thought would never arrive. And we all know the numbers. 1 playoff win since the NFL championship game of 1957. That was still 10 full years before the first Super Bowl. But here are these Lions playing for the Lombardi Trophy.
And this is such a big deal that normally you see fans like this, these long-suffering fan bases, that have the T-shirts after the team wins the big game that says, "Now I can die in peace." They're wearing that T-shirt already. Just getting to this game is enough for them because they've only won, 1 playoff game in all that time since their last NFL championship. So they're excited to have it. The whole state of Michigan, they're just off the charts right now. Everyone banding together saying, "Go Lions."
And the Lions, Charles, the only team that's been in existence for every season in the Super Bowl era without ever playing in this big game. Throwing on 3rd down, Watson. And he finds Stills, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. He was a 1,000-yard receiver during the regular season, and that's his first catch of this Super Bowl, and he picks up the first down.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line.
So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 47. From the gun, here's Watson. And Stills bringing it in. That's now a pair of explosive plays in succession, both north of 20 yards. A 1st down carry now for Miller. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. Tackle there by Clay Matthews.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half, maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
On 2nd down now, it's Miller, and he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a 1st down. And now it's 1st and 10, a big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. After the penalty, it's Miller. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. He'll get a nice chunk there on the 1st down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
When you look at the geography we're staring at, this part of the field, don't you always think of big backs carrying the football, bruisers trying to pound it in? Instead, look at a little more of a scat back type, and he's trying to make it happen.
Yeah, they went with the elusive, slippery guy. Couldn't get in there, though. And he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. It'll be a loss of a yard, and they're going to face a 3rd down. Johnson running right. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. Looking at this situation, if you're at the 1, the 2, maybe you go for it. From here, you kick it.
I agree. I think you have to get points in this situation. 4th down, I don't chance it at all. I put the points on the board and go back and regroup.
3 points, probably not going to win this Super Bowl, but at least you get something on the opening drive.
And it's certainly not going to lose it. So the bottom line is, come away with the points now, come back and get greedy later, and try and put it in the end zone.
Fairbairn now, following the made field goal, he'll send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Stafford and the Lions now have it 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Now the Auburn product, Corey Grant, and he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Not much happening there on 1st down.
I thought there might have been a hole for a split second.
Yeah, but it dried up pretty quickly, didn't it? Closed fast.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28.
No. Watch safety creep. Watch safety creeping. Safety creep.
Here's Grant. And not much. Maybe a yard up to the 29. They had 3 yards on 1st down, just 1 yard there.
Back-to-back runs, I'd say that encompassed maximum effort for minimal gain.
Minimal yardage, and now they're going to need something more than minimal on this play coming up. Throwing on 3rd down, Stafford looking downfield for Jones. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Good work, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. Now it's Miller, and they're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. Just no cutback lane to be found whatsoever. 2nd and 10. Looked like he was trying to bounce it outside, but no success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just figure out where you're going to go, and sometimes you just have to take it to another spot. In trying to get it outside, the defensive pursuit was there and just ran him down.
Throwing on 2nd down. Watson, nowhere to escape, and he goes down. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Instead, they go empty backfield as they look to throw. Pressure gets to him, and down he goes. Back at the 4-yard line. Trey Flowers providing a little deja vu. Back-to-back sacks, and now they're staring at a 4th and long. He gets it away, and I think they'll smartly play keep away here from Brown. And the punt goes out of bounds. Where will they put it? They'll put it just inside the 45-yard line. 3-0 after 1 on EA Sports. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And they'll certainly be trying to do better than that first drive where they went 3 and out.
And sometimes the first drive is just simply to settle nerves. You know what it's like at the start of a game with the emotion. Guys a little bit jumpy.
You do.
Oh, you understand the same way. Just like us calling one, right? Making sure we ease into the game, let it come to us.
Well, you went 3
and
and
now
out.
they have that opportunity.
No, you didn't go 3 and out. I went 3 and out on that first drive. I'll try to do better here. And he'll be down deep into Houston territory. And they will finally get him to the ground at the Texans' 14-yard line. Terrific run from one of the fastest backs in the game today, a guy who keeps defensive coordinators up at night, no doubt.
Remember when we were meeting with the D coordinator before the game and all he talked about was run fits, making sure our guys were in the right place so there were no creases?
They missed their fits, didn't they?
Yeah, there was no fit there. The only fit was at the end when he threw his headset down after that big run.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. From the red zone now, Stafford to the end zone, but it's incomplete. He was trying to find Marvin Jones that time, and that'll bring up 2nd down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that 1st down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Complete. It's Johnson. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. Give him 2 yards on that play, and that'll make it 3rd down. Here's Stafford. Galladay's got it, and the Lions have a touchdown. With the first touchdown of this Super Bowl, and the Lions have taken the lead. Prater for the extra point, and that makes it a 7-3 lead. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone.
The Texans take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Now on 2nd and 13, Watson. Looking for Stills here, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And they're going to be set up in the red zone right around the 17-yard line. So a big chunk of yardage will be marked off there for that PI call.
And now you know why receivers and the guys throwing the ball, they like to collaborate and just heave it up sometimes because you can get these types of calls that go against the defense. Pass interference, and they gain over 30 yards of real estate on that one.
They'll run on 1st down. It's Miller, and he'll be taken down right around the 34 after a pickup of only a yard. On 2nd and 9, Watson. He's letting this one go for Fuller. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 16. And he'll bring this all the way up to the 45-yard line.
So that's back-to-back drives where they're throwing an interception. Ordinarily, we look at the offense and say, what's going on with your scheme? Maybe we should look at the defense and just give them a whole lot of credit. They've got them frustrated right now.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. But what do you think? You get the ball off the turnover near the middle of the field. You take a shot here in the first play?
You know I'm big on that. I love when I have great field position. After a turnover, I feel like I might have a little bit off balance. I prefer to take a shot, but a lot of coaches will tell you, you only do it if you trust the guy who's got the football in his hands. Meaning, if it's not there, he won't force it downfield and maybe turn into an interception. He'll go to the check down, go to a second option, and go ahead and take the play that's in front of him.
50-50. 40 got. Watch the safety crease.
The second down carry for Irvin. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Let's go, D. Hey. We got to step it up. Mike, 59.
3rd and long. It's Stafford. He's going to go for a big play downfield. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's 4th down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
That'll be out of bounds, and how good was that? They'll say the 3-yard line. That's where they spot it.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
And from that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And they will start this drive with just terrible field position, backed up inside their own 5.
But we have seen teams be bold here and take shots, right? Sometimes you go max protection, make it a one-receiver route, and take your shot downfield and see what happens. And occasionally, we've seen success occur.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. And now he'll tuck it and run. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
Well, if you're going to run the read option, typically, you've got to keep an eye on the defensive end.
And what does that mean? What are you looking for with a defensive end?
Well, you want to play off of what he does. If he collapses inside towards the running back, then you pull it and take it yourself outside in. If he stays outside, you go ahead and leave it with the running back. In this case, pulled it and got good yardage himself.
Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
Nope.
He's got a man, complete. That one good for 37 yards.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, that ball was not streaking towards him. Had a little arc on it. He's got to find a way to get his head around and make a play on the football.
So the line of scrimmage all the way up to midfield now as they've got it 1st and 10. Watson with a give to Miller. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. To throw on 2nd and 6. Watson flush to his right. It's complete. Stills. And it's going to be another 1st down as they'll get him to the ground at the Lions' 31-yard line. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. 10th carry now for Lamar Miller. A pretty decent gain on the tough run before he's brought down at the 25. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as it'll come with 36 ticks to go in half number 1. From the 25 on 2nd down. Watson, open man, the tight end fails. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Watson now, after the pick on the last drive, 3 for 3 to start this drive. It's 1st and 10. Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
Well, nearly another interception there. That would have been 2 drives in a row with a pick. He's got to start taking care of the ball way better than what we're seeing.
Interestingly, that throw was probably worse than the one he threw the interception on last drive, but fell incomplete. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Throwing again is Watson. Escaping the pressure right. He'll try and run it. And that is caught, but the back judge right there to say incomplete. So he was past the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
And as they say, that's a no-no. Got to be able to understand where you are on the field and not cross the line before throwing the ball downfield.
Maybe worse than the loss of yardage, they also lose the down. So now it's 3rd and long. Out of the gun, Watson. Flushed out right. Under pressure, and he'll go down. Back at the 26-yard line. The Texans going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout, as they'll stop it with 13 seconds to play in half number 1. Fairbairn able to put this one through. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So the 3 points here, they're still down, but they put somewhat of a dent into that lead going into the break.
Anything helps when you're trying to chip away at a lead, but they do know that they're going to need a little bit better effort in the second half.
Fairbairn now following the made field goal. He'll send this one away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken.
The Lions take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. Time for a final kneel down or a safe run, and then they can head to the locker room with a lead.
Yeah, or they can even run a screen. You know, something they feel is somewhat safe that might actually pop and turn into a big play. That's what you usually run in this situation.
It's caught inside the 25. And he's in for the touchdown on the final play of the first half. The prayer is answered.
How did they get that done?
Not a whole lot to recap on that drive. Just one play, 75 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. And remember, rarely is it a straight line 75 yards, too. Got to have a little extra in there. So whatever the final number is, a well-deserved seat on the bench, a little oxygen if he wants it as well.
The never-tedious halftime show behind us, and now it's back to football as we get going again in Super Bowl 54. It's a short kick taken to the 15. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30.
Take over 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had an ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. So they come out of the locker room trailing, but plays like that, they won't be trailing much longer. Defense really starting out well this second half.
Yeah, they knew they had to jumpstart things a little bit. They really struggled in the first half trying to slow them down, but now they had a plan, made that adjustment that we always talk about, and it worked very well on that play.
Now following the sack, they'll come up here on a 2nd down and 12. They will run with Grant, and they won't fare much better here as he maybe gets back to the line. No gain that time, and it leaves them with 3rd and 11 coming up.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
20. Hey. That's me.
On On third down, Stafford. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And unable to connect. Incomplete. I'll give them credit. They took their shot, but it's going to bring up fourth down.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket.
The Texans take over first and 10 at their own 21-yard line.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. On first down, Miller. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair.
The tackle made back at his own 41.
He's coming. Double up, double up. He's coming, double up. Hey, alert 3, alert 3. Nine of them.
And he probably should have given that one off, as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. The tally there, -2 yards, brings up third down.
It's third down and 13.
Two running plays go backwards, so what's the call on third and 13 now?
You gonna see me and your nightmare. Check 26, check 26. Shit.
Here's Watson. And an alley to run. And they will get this across midfield, but still well short of the first as he's dropped at the 46. Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now fourth down. Here's Brian Anger now, as he'll punt it away for the second time.
The Lions take over first and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
A big chunk on the ground there, 27 yards.
First and 10 at the 47.
A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for first and 10. Back to throw, Stafford. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Whitney merciless, charging hard from that linebacker spot, and he drops him for a loss of 11.
It's second down.
They're in some hot water now after that sack. It's second and 21. Stafford now to throw. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Gary and Conley. And his crew will take over with a football at the 35-yard line. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. We have not seen much on offense here from either side these last few drives. We've hit a wall, so to speak.
And have hit it hard, haven't we? Because the defenses right now, they seem to be a step ahead, don't they? Beating them to the point of attack, beating them to the punch. These offensive guys, they're tinkering like crazy. What's it going to take to get back on track?
Yeah, both sides searching for adjustments. Back to the air, Watson on second down. He completes this into the hands of Miller. 4 yards on the pickup, and that's going to lead to a third down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big play.
A 50-50 ball here, and it's intercepted. It's Desmond Trufant, and his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line.
Well, that's a drive killer right there. Not a really confident throw either. This one was kind of up for grabs, and it's going to come down the hands of the wrong team.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. We have not seen much on offense from either side. These last few drives, it has been a struggle, hasn't it?
Totally, and you're thinking to yourself right now, if you're on offense trying to get things figured out, okay, we self-scout every week in our game plan. How many things do we do at certain times? What are our tendencies? Time to go to some of those tendency breakers and try and create some offense.
They always have those in their back pocket, don't they?
You have to, and if you don't keep abreast of what you're doing, you lock into a rhythm and make it easy for the opposition.
Looking for tendency breakers right now. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. He'll get 17 that time, and the Lions have a first down.
First 10, blue 60. Watch a slant, watch a slant, watch a slant. 50-50. Check 99. Hey, 70. Hey. Hey, go here.
Now a first down throw. Stafford. Oh, incomplete. A turnover would have really helped there. Almost intercepted. Instead, it's just second down. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw again. Stafford. Throwing deep for Galladay. And this is taken in at the 5. Touchdown, Detroit. Kenny Galladay with his 3rd touchdown of this Super Bowl. And the Lions are able to extend their lead. Extra point good by Prater. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone.
Here we go. Here we go.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. Got out of the pocket, didn't look like he had anybody open, Charles, so just gets rid of it.
And a good play by him. If no one's open and you don't have a running lane that you want to take, make the right choice. Get rid of it, live to fight another down.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10, Watson. Eluding the pressure right. Caught by Cobb. That one covers 29 yards, first down. So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. Watson now to throw. He'll let this go for the end zone. Now a clash of bodies here, and it's intercepted. Good positioning, and it's picked off. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Now Stafford completing it here to Marvin Jones. And he's able to get this one all the way past the 30. Getting it to him in space pays off big time. That winds up going for 31. 1 quarter remains here in the Super Bowl. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
Hey. Slam.
Now it's Stafford. And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off by the corner, Bradley Roby. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And with 3 interceptions thrown already, we'll see. Do they rely more on the ground game here?
They may have to.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. They couldn't contain Deshaun Hand that time as he gets home for the sack. That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. Watson going to pull back the handoff and keep it himself. A quick throw out wide to Fuller. Watson hitting Fuller with a big one. 55 yards. Excellent execution, and now they're set up nicely.
Are they ever? Red zone? I wonder what the next play call is going to be, because after a big play like that, a lot of teams like to use the momentum to launch another one.
So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. Flush to his right. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on 1st down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on 1st down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
Check 50.
And he gets it down close to the 10-yard line. Pretty good running there, 9 yards. Sets up a 3rd and 1.
That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense.
He was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
The Texans on 3rd down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. And he goes backwards here, losing yardage back to the 16. 6 yards in the wrong direction that time. Not only that, but it brings up 4th.
Check. Motion to the backfield. Hey, Mike 51. Hey, 24. Cut.
On 4th down, Watson. And it's caught. The time to pull out the stops is now, and they convert there on 4th down. 3 red zone trips have yielded just 2 field goals for them to this point. And he's in for the score. Touchdown, Texans. Lamar Miller taking it in, as they're now just an extra point away from getting back within 1 score.
I wonder if he changed anything on his play sheet or they just executed better. Because they had 2 previous drives that ended in field goals. Before this one, they finally were able to put into the end zone.
Well, whatever he did, speaking of the offensive coordinator, might be using that formula going forward. It worked there.
Yeah, it worked very well. He and his field general in pretty good sync right now. They're starting to move the ball well.
And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully.
The Lions take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Hey, check.
The Lions offense ready to kick off their next drive. I'm curious to see, Charles, about the play calling on this drive. Last time out, the interception that led to a touchdown. Here we are. I mean, very close, one-score game.
Yeah, and if I'm a defender, I'm actually chirping Chile on the other side of the ball, saying, hey, we picked off the last one. What you going to do about it now? So when you do throw the football, high percentage, but throw it with confidence. If there's any hesitancy at all, it could end up in enemy's hands again.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. From the gun, here's Stafford. This is caught by Antonio Brown. 27 yards there, a first down. This is something you got to be wary of defensively. I mean, just because they're in the mode of trying to burn some clock doesn't mean they won't pass it, and they got good yardage out of that one.
Yeah, and really, when you're looking at it, now they've got a fresh set of downs. Look for 2nd down. If they want to take another shot and try and loosen things up, that'd be the time to do it.
And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags. So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they'll march off another 15 against your squad.
So the face mask, quite a blessing there as they'll start out of harm's way with a 1st and 10. The give, running right, it's Irvin. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
I like a guy who understands the situation. I also like a guy who you look at him and you say, that looks like a guy who knows the coach is going to say, guess what? You drop this one, you'll be carrying around a training facility for an entire week.
Maybe flashback to high school or college, carrying it around campus, right?
The old gauntlet drill, right? Anyone get the ball out while he's sitting in class and bring it back to the coach? He's in big trouble.
On 2nd down, it's Grant. He's got the first down inside the 10, and he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. 22 yards, and the Lions are able to extend their lead.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run, and one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt. You need that difference maker lugging the rock.
The Texans take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really look clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments, and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. To throw is Watson. Throwing again. It's complete to Fuller. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 28 yards the gain there on the catch and run. So the ball moves into Lion territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 47. A shotgun snap for Watson. He's got Fuller. He'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On 1st and 10, Watson. And nearly picked it off. He had a chance to come down with that in the end zone, but it'll wind up just being incomplete. So after the incompletion, 2nd and 10 from the 22.
Hey, check Mike 21, Mike 21, check Mike 21. It's a party now. It's a party now. Hey, check Mike 21, Mike 21.
Watson now. Going to throw again. Escaping the pressure right. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off at the 12. And it's a good return here as he'll get all the way up close to the 35. Trying to get it that time to Stills. Well, there's a time and a place for everything. Down 2 scores late in the 4th. I get it. Now is the time to throw it downfield, but that one might just write an end to this ball game.
Yeah, I hear all the time how critical I am of play calls. Not in this situation. No other choice, really. Look at the clock. Look at the scoreboard. Had to press it and take a chance.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. This is Grant. Just a couple there on the 2nd down run. Now they're staring at a 3rd and 8 situation. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down.
We got three, fellas. We got 3. Hey, big 20. 22.
Stafford. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off by Justin Reed. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the ending, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get them down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Watson. Flushed out right. And time finally runs out. He can't get rid of the football. He's taken down.
No doubt that's a very good play defensively right there because you've always got to be aware that he can take off and make a big play with his legs. How about the way they were able to contain him? That also tells me the coverage was excellent downfield.
Another try after the 1st down sack. Watson. Jared Davis. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. Following the sack, it's now 3rd and long for Watson and the Texans.
Check Mike 21, check Mike 21. You ain't going nowhere.
3rd and long. It's Watson. That's complete to Cobb. 14 yards is the pickup there, but it'll still lead to a 4th down. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go. If they're going to have a shot in this Super Bowl, they're going to need this one on 4th down. Now it's Watson. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and that may write a finish to this Super Bowl.
You got 3 down.
After the interception, here's Stafford. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
Stafford going to throw it. Looking in zone for Jones. And that is incomplete. 16 seconds now on the clock.
I'm going to need some help with this one. How did he miss it? Wide open in the end zone. He's not hurried. He's not hit. And somehow, incomplete?
Yeah.
What happened?
During film study, that's one where he's just going to shake his head, not be able to believe it.
6 points go by the wayside on that one.
He wants it all for the end zone. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now.
Incomplete. Bradley Roby on the coverage defensively.
And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on fourth. Throwing is Stafford. He gets it to Brown. Good play. That one a backbreaker as they wind up converting there on fourth. And the Lions, yes, the Detroit Lions have won the Super Bowl.
First and 10 at the 11-yard line.
For the victors getting to hoist that Lombardi trophy, you know, we've talked to guys that have done it, and they say there's no better feeling in sports.
I don't know how there can be. The journey to get to this game is incredible. And then to finally break through and win it when all eyes are on this game alone because there's nothing else going on, that's just got to be absolutely amazing. The task, incredible. But the accomplishment, forever.
it's my time. I live every day like I'll die by the nighttime. It took me so long.